Hi everybody, welcome to the Manifold channel. Today we're going to take a look at the wonderful new style capability that's in Manifold System Release 9. It enables us to style fields and tables that are numeric fields and date fields and all sorts of other fields using a wide variety of formats. And however we style a field in the table, that's automatically going to be translated and updated into, say, labels that use that same field or the info pane. We're looking at Manifold System Release 9. All this works in the free Manifold Viewer as well. And here we've got a map, and the map has a couple layers to it. The upper layer is the city's labels. It shows labels that if we click on style, we can see what the label takes its data from. It's the place name, the latitude, and the longitude shown in the label. And that's above a city's drawing, which are those green dots, which is above a Bing satellite layer. We also have a Bing streets layer here, but we're not using that layer right now in the map. We're just using the satellite layer as a background. And the data is taken from the cities table, which is the attribute table for the city's drawing. And you can see here's the place name, the longitude, and the latitude. And we can see that whatever the format is here in the table is automatically going to be updated here in the labels. We can change the format, let's say for the longitude, by right-clicking on the column head and choosing Style. And the column head is a float 64 number. So this has a variety of different ways of formatting numbers, for example, currency and other sorts of things. But one of the ways we use numbers is, of course, to represent longitudes and latitudes, so that there's three presets here which make it easy to use common longitude and latitude formats. And for example, they all begin with the letter A. A is for angle, because latitudes and longitudes are angular measures. And this is angles that are decimal degrees. This is angles that are decimal degrees in minutes. Degrees and decimal minutes. And here's for degrees, minutes, and decimal seconds. So for example, if we like, we can choose, let's choose AM for degrees and minutes and click OK. And that's immediately going to update the longitude field here in the table. And it's also going to update how the longitude field is displayed in the labels. Let's adjust the latitude style to use that same style, which is the minutes format. And there you can see how that's changed instantly. Now, one of the cool things about Manifold is that Release 9 and Viewer understand over 600 different language pairs, at least in Windows 10, and we can use languages as well in these fields. So, for example, here we click in the Style dialog. Let's say we want to use a different style, and what we're going to do is we're going to use, let's use the German language, which is one of my favorites that I've popped up with. If I want, I can do more and choose anyone from hundreds of different languages. Here's, for example, languages as used in Germany. I'll use the filter box, and you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 6 different versions of German that work in Germany. And I've added one of those, German as used in Germany, to the favorites, so I can just click that with one click. And that immediately changes the previews that you see in the style. So, for example, it changes the digit group separator from a comma to a dot as used in Germany, and it changes the decimal point, as we can see here, from a dot to a comma, and for the currency it changes the dollar sign to the euro sign, and it's also going to be updated in the various angular measures as well. Let's click that, and you can see how that changes. You can see where here there's a decimal point as a period. Here in Germany they don't use a period for decimal point, they use a comma. So that's updated there, and you can see it's updated here as well. Of course, if you're going to change language in one of the fields, you probably should change it in all of them, because you don't want to use one language for one field and a different language for another. So let's do that. And you can see that's immediately been updated right there. It's that easy to change formats, and to change formats in a highly sophisticated way. Let's do this for degrees, minutes, and seconds as well. So let's change this to degrees, minutes, and seconds. And let's change here to degrees, minutes, and seconds. Super. So all that is very quick and easy, and like I say, whenever you change anything here in the table, that automatically changes in the label. If you want to look at some of the other things that Manifold can do, let's call up another table here, which is provides an example of date-time fields. These are the default date-time fields, and let's change the default date-time field using styles. And what we're going to do is, let's change it to a long style here. It has the date of the week and the name of the month. So let's click that, and with neutral language, this is what we get. If we like, we can change the language on that as well. So let's right-click on this and choose the style to from neutral to, let's use my favorite here, German again. And you can see Manifold automatically translates all these into German. And the range of languages is absolutely staggering in terms of what can be done in terms of what Manifold understands. So, for example, if you want to see what it looks like in Hawaiian, let's use the full language pane here and see. Here we go. Hawaiian for the Mohawk and Hawaiian. Let's choose Hawaiian. Click OK. And here are the names of the days of the week and the names of the months in Hawaiian. So that's all easy to do. And if any of the labels used here, a date time like that, those labels would automatically be updated. Like I say, you have 600 different languages to choose from if you're working with Windows 10. If you're working with some of the other Windows editions, that'll be slightly less. It'll only be about 300 languages, but still, Manifold's got you covered. It's got by far I think the best resolution of in terms of working with international languages of any of the other any of the various other packages. There's one more thing that I wanted to do here, which I'll go back to the. Let's drag this out of the way. Let's go back here to the cities layer, because I want to show you how one thing that may seem a little bit tricky to people. And what we're going to do is let's put this back into a simple. Let's go use neutral language and use a simple format there. And let's get this one here to go back to using a neutral language. And just simple decimal degrees formats there. Let's set this so that instead of using negative signs for west longitude, it uses a big W sign. And the way to do that is in this box right here, which is captioned positive, and I can indicate how I want that to be done. That simply indicates what's the positive hemisphere. And let's see, we're working with longitude, so the positive hemisphere for longitude is the west hemisphere. That means that excuse me, the east hemisphere. Let's get that right. That means east longitudes are positive numbers and west longitudes are negative numbers. When I click OK, you can see anything which is a positive longitude that is going to be marked with an east, and anything that was a negative longitude, like Madrid, which is to the west here. It's to the west of the prime meridian. Is marked as an east. And we can do that same thing for latitude. Latitude, of course, the positive hemisphere is the northern hemisphere. So let's enter N for north, because it's latitudes that are north latitudes are positive numbers and south latitudes are negative numbers. Click OK, and there you can see that that's automatically done. So if we scroll down here to where Barcelona is and Lisbon and Madrid, we can see how all that works. And if we go way far to the south, you can see down here, like Brazzaville is a south latitude, so that would normally be a minus number, but here it's marked with south, and it's an east longitude. So all that happens automatically. And let's click back here, back to where we were in France. Okay, that's close enough. Let's show you one more thing which is kind of tricky, and that's when you're working with numeric vectors. Because with numeric vectors, that's a numeric vector is a vector quantity is an entity that has two components. That has two numbers that are there, and here's a vector that has two floating point numbers. So if we want to treat these numeric vectors as if this first value is a longitude and that second value is a latitude, we can arrange it so that Manifold will automatically make this number use either E or W, as if it was a longitude east or longitude west. And this number using N or S as if it was a latitude, that's a north latitude or a south latitude. And to do that, we right click on that, choose style, and let's click here for this value here. Let's do this in 2 steps, and that's first treating it as an angular setting. Okay, and now in style, what we can also do is we can, since we're working with we want the first value to be a longitude value. Let's make that E, so that that means the eastern hemisphere is positive numbers, and that automatically treats the second number as if it was a latitude, which means that the northern hemisphere is positive numbers. If we choose east, that's what that does. Click OK, and you can see that automatically sets that up in that sort of relationship. So what were negative numbers here for the first component are shown with the W, and what were positive numbers are E. And here, and what we're treating as a latitude, positive numbers are shown with an N, and negative numbers are shown as an S. So it just automatically alternates like that to take care of the most common usage of it. And if you choose different settings here, in the style, for example, instead of E, you choose a W. This would be a kind of like a backwards where the Western Hemisphere is a positive number. Most people don't do that. Or you could choose something like N, treating this as a latitude first, and the second number as a longitude. That's for people that use Y-X ordering instead of X-Y ordering. But we're going to leave that with the E, which is kind of like the default way that most people do it. And here, when you have a 3-position vector, what we can do is, if you change style, if you change it to this number right there, to change it to degrees, all 3 items are used as degrees. Or if you like, if you want to add one of the, let's click the style here, if you want to add a hemispheric designation like E, what it's going to do is it's going to treat the first number as a longitude, the second, so it's either E or W, the second number as a latitude, so it's either N or S, and the third number as if it's just a floating point quantity. So if we do that, you can see this is a common use of 3-position vectors, where the first 2 numbers are coordinates for longitude and latitude, and the second and the third number is a value. That could be a z value for a height, or it could be a temperature, or some other floating point value. Anyway, you can see that there's an awful lot of different variations that we have here. We haven't even touched things like how to do URLs, or, well, let's do URLs real quickly here. Let's drag this in here. What I can do is I can right-click this and choose style, and choose a style for text. That's URL style. And if this is a valid URL, it'll automatically show that as a hyperlink, and we can right-click on that and choose Open URL, and then it'll open up in a browser window. If it's not a valid URL, for example, let's edit this. Make this not okay. You can see that doesn't show up as a URL because this is no longer a valid URL, since URLs do not include the text snippet not okay in front of them. If we remove that, it's going to go back to formatting it as a URL, because now it knows that that's a URL. So there it goes. Anyway, so we've just done a quick survey here of some of the many options that you can do in terms of formatting different fields here. Remember, whenever you change the format here, it automatically changes in labels or in the info pane. So for example, if you click on something like this, I'll click on that. You can see that the formatting here is shown in the info pane, whether it is. There's a couple of hidden fields here. They have one hidden field called text field that I'm not displaying here in the cities table, but all the others are there, and you can see that they're formatted in the info pane and in the labels pane, just the way they are in the label. All that's inherited. I hope you've enjoyed this quick video. Enjoy using styles. Remember, we're not actually changing any of the data here. These fields are still float64 fields. They're not text fields. They're just being the quantities are just being displayed and using a different format. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends about Manifold. Enjoy the free viewer. Check out the documentation for endless convenient details and cool examples. Thanks for watching. Goodbye from Manifold Land. Well, that was fun. If you want to see more, visit us at www.manifold.net. As always, Manifold delivers the world's most advanced, highest quality spatial products for GIS and DBMS at a low price that you can afford. Once again, that's manifold.net. See you soon.